Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweety and Sweety are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey, hey.
Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two Sweety sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweety.
And I'm Sweety.
Happy 4th of July.
For beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. Good song, good song.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wow. Turn it down, folks. It's
Oh,
Independence.
say,
Okay.
can
We're not going to
you
sing all the songs.
see?
We're not singing all the songs.
Yeah, we're not.
It's 4th of July, you guys. Independence Day, 2018. We thought it might be a good idea if we watched a movie that celebrated such. So, Sweetie here was like, why don't we watch... Oh, great. That's great. Great coughing into the mic.
God.
We watched
Independence Day.
Welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth.
Yeah. Independence Day from 1996. I thought this was a little bit earlier. And I was like, damn, yo, I was 13. I felt younger. I don't know. Riding the wave of the Will Smith Cool Train. Choo, woo.
Do you want to talk about the Cool Train? Who's on the Cool Train? How does it work?
Okay, so the Cool Train. We've done one movie already with Will Smith. We did Men in Black last summer, I believe. And I think we talked a little bit about then how, like, Men in Black was also when Will Smith was on the Cool Train. Will Smith in the 90s, let's say he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Cool. With DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Cool. And then he started making movies. And literally every movie he did, you're like, that guy is cool. You felt cool watching him in movies. You thought he was cool. It was just all around coolness.
He was maybe your third fake boyfriend.
right.
Like, you know?
I mean, the guy could do like no wrong.
Yep.
And it was just like such an interesting, happy like 90s time that, I don't know, that just like, whenever I think of the 90s and that sort of like, you know, you're kids and you're happy and we're like, oh, we didn't have any problems. I mean, there were problems, but we didn't know about them because we were kids, right?
Yep.
But what always like goes along with that was just this like intense love of Will Smith, but also that he was in like every fucking movie.
Every movie.
And if you put Will Smith in a movie, people are going to go see it. So
It's true.
Independence Day, this was the #1 film, most money maker from 96. One as you. Do you remember when this movie came out? Did it come out on Independence Day? Because
I'm pretty sure.
You think so? I mean,
At
it seems
least
stupid.
definitely in the summer, so.
Yeah, it seems stupid, like not to have it be, but I like wasn't completely sure.
Did I see this in the movie theater?
No.
Maybe. I feel like
don't
I would have been
remember
too
that.
scared.
But I think I would have been scared too.
No,
most
you know
certainly.
what? You saw it in the movie theater, I think, first, because you were like, because remember, I think they showed the part where the dog jumps, like, is in the car,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not seeing it because there's a dog in it, and you were like, he doesn't die, he makes it, or something.
Okay, that
so I
sounds
think,
about right to me.
yeah, so I think you saw it in the theater, but I did not. But yeah, thought memories of this film. I hadn't seen it in a really long time. It's been a while for me. Don't know when the last time was, although I know they play it on TV all the time.
Yeah, I think mine was a TV watch a couple years ago. Maybe.
Yeah. But really, had been a while. And I gotta say, I remember now, this movie stressed me out. It's very stressful. As you know, I get stressed out in disaster situations, also situations where dogs and pets are put in danger. Also situations where they show you close-ups of guys' faces before they blow up. Because
Yeah.
I felt a weird, like,
What was
now I know them.
up
Like,
with
I didn't
that?
know this random pilot before, and now
just-
you're showing me all the faces.
I will say I feel like that is totally unnecessary, like gratuitous semi-violence that does not need to be put into this film. Okay, do it once because it's like, okay, oh, that's kind of cool. The guy's like, ah, like right before. But the weird thing is like you see the plane blow up and then they show the guy going like, ah, and you're like, hasn't he already blown up?
I think it's supposed to be at the same time.
Right.
That's like,
Oh, wow, what a clever camera trick. But I thought you were gonna say it's been a long time. I forgot like how great this movie is. Oh my god, I had such a good time. I love this movie.
good. No, I mean, okay, so the thing with me is that if you know me, you know that I love Men in Black.
You don't know me.
So this movie and Men in Black, I feel like were rivals in a weird way, even though Will Smith was in both of them, but they were both about aliens and they both starred Will Smith. But the difference was that Men in Black was fun for me, and this was pretty damn terrifying and stressful. So that is why my kinship always leans towards Men in Black, and because I just fucking love that movie. I think it's so good. But this is more like action-y, end of the world. I just will never understand the desire to like watch a movie about the end of the world or like something scary happening like
Well,
that. It's just
You know what? Remember like the time that like there was several movies in a row that were not about aliens but about like an asteroid coming to Earth?
yes.
And I was like confusing some of the scenes in this with those scenes. I think of Deep Impact. When I watched that, I was like, why would someone
or is that sudden impact?
right?
What's
I
the
don't
one
even
with
know.
Dirty Harry?
I don't know. But it's like why
It's Deep
are people
Impact.
paying to watch a movie where like
Something
you know
bad happens.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Those movies are the ones that stress me the fuck out. So this was like kind of like that, but obviously
Kinda?
like a little bit more like patriotic and like yeah, go USA, USA.
It was the whole world. Like, in watching
Yeah,
this
too.
today, I was like rolling my eyes because, of course, they like turn it into like now everyone can celebrate Independence
Right.
Day, which is really just like, is that just the USA like taking over the world and being like, now you have to celebrate our shitty holiday? Like, what? I don't know.
Our shitty holiday.
Mixed feelings.
It's a great
I
holiday.
know. I mean, like now, like everyone has to shoot fire. I don't know. Just okay. I was going weird places. I just got very negative at the end because I am not
Okay.
happy with our country right now, and I think that's what happened.
and maybe you should watch this movie and feel good about it because I got really patriotic when I watched this movie. I was like, yeah, awesome country, woo!
Awesome. What?
Country
Oh.
woo. Country woo. But I really liked it. And it has a great cast, which include oodles and oodles of Large Marge
We can't
alum.
even-
I mean, I don't even know if we got
We're not going to
them
be
all.
able to list them all. We're not.
But mainly starring Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Mary McDonnell, Robert Loggia, R.I.P. Love you to pieces.
I thought you were just going to name the top three build.
Girl from
top
Mrs.
two build, really.
Girl from Mrs. Doubtfire, Lydia.
Lydia.
Harvey Firestein, also from Mrs. Doubtfire. Aguado from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
And Speed.
And Speed. Anyone else?
Let's move on.
Harry Connick Jr., not in any movie we've done, but like cool to see ya. Andre didn't even know it was
Also
him.
not Simon Rex.
No.
As I thought.
No, she's like, whoa, Harry Connick Jr. Just remember, he did had a pretty good movie career in the 90s.
What?
He did some Hope Floats.
Oh, okay. See, I never knew that. I never connected the actor with this or knew what the singer looked like or something. I don't know. So,
But yeah, so like pretty good cast, and I think this was like I
you said Will Smith.
Oh, and Will Smith. Vivica A. Fox. Yeah, just like a lot of like great 90s people, but I think this was a huge movie at the time. People were very excited about it. Like I said, it made a ton of money, the most movie of any movie that year. And it's just remembered fondly in our hearts, you know, for the Will Smith level. And like we've said, you know, the patriotism and kicking some alien tail.
Killed them aliens. Yeah. So also 90s had a fascination maybe with aliens now that I think about it.
The 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 90s. Too.
But in this one, it sways toward the aliens are rude as fuck genre. Also see also Mars Attacks for another version of that, except sillier and more comical, satire, etc. But Independence Day, yeah. I kept mixing up Independence Day and Mars Attacks in my head. I'll be honest. I kept being like, when's the scene when all the hippies are like, yay, and then they get blown up by the thing, which was in this, but there's also a similar kind of scene in Mars Attacks, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, Contact. I don't know. There was, like, a lot of alien movies. I don't know if that was just a thing that people were really looking to explore. Has there been any alien movies lately? I mean,
every like 30 or 40 years. Yeah, every 30 or 40 years, we're like, you know what I miss? Aliens. And then we go back. So, yeah, they'll be back.
Yeah, and these ones are such bullshit because they're, like, so ugly. And as I said to Sweety when this movie started, like, you look at those ships, there is no way in hell that those are friendly aliens. Like, what were they thinking?
Those are malicious
and then it's like,
ships.
put it together. Like, literally a preschooler could put it together when they're like, oh, they're flying to major cities and just, like, hovering over. Do you think they're going to, like, send down a little, like, you know, peacekeeping mission from all those spaceships? No! Like, they're so fucking stupid in this movie. Or just, like, get it together. Evacuate the cities. I mean, that president is dumb as it gets.
People never evacuate. Look at all the hurricanes and stuff. Like, we'd be toast.
Dude,
toast in a second.
Go! I mean, it's insane. And I will say, like, so I have this kind of funny story, which I think I told on another episode about how I, like, was obsessed with this movie when it came out, and I thought it was so cool, as I still kind of do, Avi. And my grandfather was in the Marines, and so he was like basically the only like military, like patriotic person I knew, like kind of hardcore Republican, loved Ronald Reagan, like that kind of guy. And I feel like I couldn't really connect with my grandfather in a lot of ways, but I saw this movie and I was like, you know what? I bet Grandpa would like love this movie. So we visited them down in Florida, and we like we're all watching a movie together as a family. I'm like, Dad, like let's watch Independence Day. I bet Grandpa's gonna like love it. He's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like he totally will. And we watched it, and Grandpa was like, that is the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen.
Which he also said about The Mask, which was another ill-fated attempt on my part.
Ripped my little patriotic heart to shreds.
Both of our hearts. He just killed it. Yeah, Charles Kozlowski. Not a fan of the flicks.
But I will say now, like, even though I obviously have like so much nostalgia for this film, which is probably why I still really like it, it's like it's super cheesy, it's super like kind of annoying American patriotic.
Super cheesy.
And I really am not 100% on board with Bill Pullman as the president on this. He is way over the top. It's too much for me. I'm sorry. When he gets in the plane, please.
Oh, man.
Please. When was the last time you fucking flew a plane? Buddy. And, like, also, the vice president got blown up. So, like, there's no one. I mean, then you
have
go
a
down the line of
daughter
succession.
who
Yes,
lost her mom.
Like, dude, take a back seat. Like, you're the leader. You don't have to go on a fucking plane. Yeah. I don't know. And I just think he's, like, over the top in this. And normally I like Bill Pullman. And you know, we've done him in Spaceballs, right? Mm-hmm. He was great in that, and like also kind of like, oh, he's just like he thinks he has this like cool swagger, but he just like sounds stupid.
League of Their Own. Yep. He's in
League of Their Own.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't hate him. I think I like his speech.
I think he was supposed to be like that. I'm not saying that like. I'm sure that was the direction.
Yeah. I also think this movie's just like a tiddly bit too long. It's like 2 hours and 28 minutes. Is that necessary?
You're complaining about like literally every movie is length.
Well, it's just like because it felt long to me this time, and like
God
there's
forbid.
this
Let's not ever watch
like,
Lawrence of Arabia because like you're gonna slit your wrists.
We're both on the. That's why we avoided many movies in our past
I'm
together.
okay with
because
length.
we
I didn't notice it was long because I was having a good time.
Oh. Well, I was just stressed out. So it was a lot of stressful feelings for 2 hours and 28 minutes. But anyways, yeah, I think we should refreshen people's minds about this flick. What do you think?
Yeah.
So
it's time for the Sweetie synopsis. Yeah, Sweeties. Boomer! Boomer!
That's the line we pick? Oh, my God.
Don't worry, he doesn't die.
Oh my god. All right. Aliens have come to planet Earth. I'm not going to start with a person's name because I'm very confused about who the story should start with. Here we go. Aliens have come. They're taking us over. They've landed over like a bunch of important cities. Blah 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 blah. David, what's his last name? I don't know. I'm going to say something inappropriate and racist, but David decides. What?
Something with an L.
Yeah.
It's like Lebensraum.
Okay.
That's not it.
Well, there
That's
she
not
goes.
it.
She took it
That's
for me.
German. For living space.
That's
It's a
bad.
concept of the Third Reich.
Yikes! Yikes!
I'm reading the
Ooh,
Third Reich. I'm sorry.
Inappropriate. So David's this. What is his job?
I don't know. Is that like a television station he works for?
Have no clue. I was so confused. I was like, why is he? I guess so, because they're talking about like satellites and stuff,
Yeah,
and
so some kind of
signals aren't working.
Communication company, perhaps in New York City.
Oh yeah, that's probably what it is. And so like none of the signals are working. So he like prints out some binary code and is like, oh, I figured it out, like this blah blah blah. And then he sees on the news all these fucking aliens are taking over the world. So he's like, fuck, I know the answer. So luck would have it, he was previously married to who's now the chief of staff, I believe.
That's
right? That's probably who she is. Connie. And so he gets in touch with her and is like, I gotta talk to the president. She's like, no, go away. And hangs up the phone. Meanwhile, everyone's like, Mr. President, we should evacuate. And he's like, no. I'll evacuate when I'm dead or like something. I don't know.
He's like so tough. Like I gotta stay here. Like it's just gonna cause panic. And like, yes, people should be panicking. There's aliens parking their spaceships like above their cities.
Also,
hello.
he makes a big fucking deal about like doing DEFCON 3, which isn't even the highest thing. Let's move it to DEFCON 1, people. Let's get up there. Let's get up there.
I was like DEFCON 5, but it's
the
down.
opposite.
Yeah.
And
Keep
DEFCON
going.
1 is like war, which like, hello, it's war. At least go to a DEFCON 2. But
Right.
Anyway.
And like, God bless these like sweet little naive Americans because they're like, oh yeah, aliens, like, oh, they're coming to like chat with us. They're not coming to chat with you. So the first thing they do is send out a welcome wagon, and they do kind of like a close encounters
aliens
of
or USA?
The USA, sorry. Because there's these ships and they're just like hanging out. So they're like, let's send out a welcome wagon, aka a helicopter with kind of like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like light show situation on there, because they're pretty sure that aliens do not speak English. You're right. And they're like, let's like just like shine these lights and be like, hey, we're friendly. Like, you're friendly too. Guess what, guys?
Not friendly.
They're not
Nope.
friendly.
Nope.
They blow up the welcome wagon, and then the fucking president is like, oh shit, time to evacuate. Like, wait. Too late.
And then they blew him up, and then so David come finally.
Right.
He's like in New York City. He's like, let's go to
That
Washington
happened like
D.C.
the same time David arrives.
Okay, so David arrives, tells the president, listen, they're counting down to like in 6 hours. Something bad's gonna happen.
No, at this time it's 20
Oh,
minutes.
20 minutes,
because he had
right.
to drive to D.C. from New York.
I mean,
so it takes hours.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so yeah, so 20 minutes until this timer goes off and everybody is dead. So they're like, fuck, evacuate. So they evacuate, they get on the plane, they barely get off the runway in time, and boom, spaceships hit New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, other countries around the world. Boom, boom,
Yep,
boom,
all,
boom,
all
boom.
the major cities. And like David had found out that there was basically like they were using our satellites to like sync them all together. So like all the ships would fire at the exact same moment. So this was like this countdown clock. So you have like, so you have 3 major cities. You have New York, where David was, D.C., where the president was, and then L.A., where the president's wife was giving a speech, First Lady. And then you have this lovely couple, Steve and Jasmine. Steve is Air Force, Marine pilot, a captain, living with his girlfriend. Jasmine, an exotic dancer. I mean, was she a stripper though? Yeah.
What? Yeah, they
Okay.
showed her in the club.
She called herself
And
an
we were-
exotic dancer.
That's what
but
a
she
stripper
was
is.
talking to the
I think
First
that's
Lady.
what strippers
Yeah.
called themselves in the 90s.
So, like, he has to go to, once the ships come, like, he's supposed to have 4th of July off, but he's, like, called to his base.
Nuts.
Yeah. She's like, you were supposed to have this whole weekend off. And he's like, well, they canceled it.
God, Jasmine.
I know, she doesn't
This is
get it at
serious.
all.
It's DEFCON, what should be a 1, but is a 3.
Right. So he goes in, and he's, like, with all the Air Force or whatever, and they're going to go attack the planes. This happened after, though.
To attack the big plane.
Yeah.
This happened before the big blasts.
It did?
Yeah, because remember he says bye to Jasmine and then moves away.
No. It was the big blast first because remember, like Robert Loggia is like all giving the direction of like we're like use the Blackhawks or whatever those things were to like try to take these down. No,
No. The blast happened and they're like, "Fuck, we gotta kill these aliens." So then they go after the big plane to shoot it down because they fired on us, so we're gonna fire on them.
Okay, I don't even remember this timeline. But anyway, so you're also like following like them. So Jasmine had like left her job at the strip club. She has her son and her dog. And when the thing goes off in LA, there's like this big fireball and she's like stuck in this tunnel because there's just traffic everywhere. And because everyone's trying to evacuate. So she like, despite being a stripper with a heart of gold who also loves dolphins, this will be important later. She also is like fucking smart and like can kick like nobody's business because she finds this like little maintenance door on the sides of the tunnel, kicks it down and gets her little boy in there. Forgets that she left the dog in the tunnel, the fireball tunnel, and is like, "Boomer, Boomer." Best part of the movie, the dog hears her, runs, follows the sound of her voice, and jumps into the doorway right before the fireball hits.
I can't.
And then they all like cower in. I mean, I like burst into tears. It's so good.
I hate it's just so stressful, and I hate it, like my stupid brain. Like as soon as I see that, I immediately think of my cat, and I'm like, I don't think Desmond would make it in the fireball tunnel. Also, what about all the other pets in LA that just died in New York and Washington D.C.?
Really
like I just get so upset,
I know,
and that's why I just like hate it. But yeah, she's okay, so they're okay. So during the airstrike, it's too bad because those aliens, they're really smart, and they have a force field or a shield over their ship, so nothing can get through it. And then they're like, now we're going to send out 100 of these itty bitty alien airplanes after you, and they're going to fuck you up too.
Yeah,
and they have shields also.
Totally. And they kind of look like those little TIE.
Little saucers.
I thought they looked like kind of like the little TIE fighters from Star Wars.
TIE fighters. Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, so there's that battle. They pretty much kill everybody. Will Smith, Captain Steve, and his buddy, Harry Connick Jr., fly away for some plan. I don't know what their plan was, but they're like, we got 2 of them. We got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck they were going to do. But anyways, his buddy dies, sad. And then...
Put your mask on. Keep your mask on.
So he's obsessed with the mask part.
Keep your mask on. It's like every single like Air Force movie, people get like so freaked out. They're like, I can't breathe. Why would you can't breathe and you take your mask off? That's how you breathe. I just don't get
when
it.
you're panicking, you just do
know,
it.
And it just bothers me. Never take your mask off.
Don't take your mask off, guys, when you're flying your planes. Remember. So Will Smith crashes his plane and like ejects out the top with parachute. Cool. He's cool. I mean, we already said it, but he's fucking cool. So sees the alien ship, is pissed, like goes over there. The alien like comes out of the ship and is like tentacles everywhere. It's gross. And then Will Smith just like socks him in the head. He's like, "Welcome to Earth." It's pretty great.
And then he smokes a cigar
and he
after.
smokes a cigar.
And he goes, "That's what I call a close encounter."
Ooh, cringy. So next they're like regrouping and so the president went to Area 51. FYI,
he didn't know it existed.
He didn't know it existed. It was off
Nobody
the charts. I think didn't the Secretary of Defense know?
Yeah, that's the only person. Because he used to be the head of the CIA, apparently.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they go to Area 51. There's like this crazy scientist there who they have the spaceship that crashed during like the Roswell incident, and then 3 alien bodies. Then they tell them like what they know about them, and then just in time, Will Smith shows up with an unconscious alien in the back of a truck. So, boom. They're excited. Science is ready. So they take that, look inside that alien. Things go wrong, and he grabs the scientist and like speaks through him. And they're like trying to like make a pact with the alien. They're like, "Don't you want peace? Let's be peaceful. Let's not fight." And the alien's like, "What the fuck? We're fighting. We're killing you. We're taking your planet."
Yeah.
And
shut up, dumb leader. And so and during the science, like when they go to this lab, they do learn some stuff about the aliens, which like prove useful. So they learn that they are like what do they call it? Organic life forms or something? Basically like
organic
humans.
life forms?
Yeah. Basically like humans, so like built out of carbon, right? Organic. have this like sort of extra like layer of suit on, so like underneath they're like just like humans in that like they can be killed quite easily, but they wear this like kind of like it's not like it's an armor, but it's like a biological
exoskeleton.
like an exoskeleton, so it makes them look like bigger than they are. That they don't have any vocal cords, so they have to speak through telepathy apparently. And then they obviously have the ship, and they learn like about their like kind of flight, how the ships work and everything like that. So they got some good intel, let's say. Good intel. But yeah, they bring the live one
specimen.
in. Oh yeah, you just said all that.
Yep.
And
Goes wrong.
yeah, and then they kill him.
Yep. Kill the alien, and then like, we need a plan.
Yeah. Well, now they're like fucking depressed.
So
like,
yeah, everyone's
dang.
depressed.
But then at this point, they're like, let's use the nukes. Let's use the nukes.
So they try the nukes. Guess what? Nukes don't work. I mean, I could have told you that. It's a fucking shield. It's a shield.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, our nukes are so powerful.
Right.
I don't know.
It's not gonna go for a force field. Like hello.
And now we're all radioactive. Like, great.
Right.
Thank you. So David's like all like upset and is like throwing
He's
trash
drunk.
around and
He got
drunk.
really drunk.
Yeah, I know. I saw the bottle. And his dad comes and is like, David, what are we doing here? Like, blah, 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 blah.
You gotta keep the faith.
yeah.
Everyone loses faith sometime.
And then he's like, get off of this cold concrete floor. You don't want to catch a cold. And he's like, what did you say? Catch a cold. I don't want you to catch a cold. And he's like, I'm going to give the aliens a virus. I just have to fly up into that alien ship that we have and pretend we're one of them, and then put a virus, somehow transfer a virus into their computer system, even though it's only 1996.
I mean, do they have wireless?
No. So I'm like, what?
And the crazy thing is, like, David has this like old school. I mean, it's like a Mac laptop, but it's like pretty old school. This is 96, right? So they
It's
weren't
like a ThinkPad. It's
Yeah.
like a, what are those, like leapfrog, like,
Yeah.
game pads.
Pretty basic.
It's bulky.
And the guy's doing like crazy fucking shit with that. He's like patching into satellites. He's like patching into the alien system. And it's just like, you know, those old like little, remember the Mac boxes that had like the little like square on the end to close at the box
Yeah.
to close it?
Yep.
It's like
Yeah,
that
it's like
level
that.
of the interface.
Yeah, I don't get how
Kinda
it's
crazy.
working.
Yeah.
Whatever. Not to mention, like, is there computers in space? I don't know.
Right. Who knows? Who knows? But it's like, it's fine because David fucking works it out.
Yep.
So he's able to do like a test run on the spaceship. And he puts a can and asks one of the Major Hunk, we'll call him. We'll talk about Major Hunk later. Shoot the can off the spaceship, and he can't do it because there's a force field. Like, bullet goes flying. People are like, what the fuck,
we know
man?
this.
Like,
We
you
know
can't like
this. You
fire a
can't shoot
gun
the
inside.
yeah.
And then he's like, wait. So then he like uploads this virus into the spaceship, and then he's like, okay, Major Hunk, try again. And he's like, pow, and the can goes off, and they're like, how did you do that? And then so he explains to everybody, and then there was like one like sort of negative Nancy guy, Secretary of Defense, who's like, you're telling us like we have to like organize a whole worldwide whatever in so many minutes, because he thinks once they down the satellites that the force field will be down for like a couple minutes, but it's better than 0 minutes, which is what they were working with before. So like the next hurdle is like, who are we gonna get to fly this alien ship, right? I mean, who could it possibly
Who could it be? Who is a pilot that we know in this movie who is famous and one of the stars? Oh, I know. Will Smith or Captain Stephen Hiller.
Excuse me, sir. I've seen these planes fly. I've seen these spaceships fly.
So his justification for like knowing how to fly the plane is that he saw one in action and knows its maneuvers. That's like, what? Like, so I could go outside, watch a plane flying above me, and be like, oh yeah, commercial air jet.
he's a
I
pretty
know
good
how
pilot,
that
though,
works
in general.
Yeah. I think once you're a pilot, you can
I
like
mean,
fly all the
it's
shit.
just like riding a bike.
So they say. But yeah, so he volunteers, and then David's gonna go with him, and he's gonna upload the virus. So they're on this mission. So off they go. Meanwhile, all the other pilots suit up, get ready for the big takedown once the shield goes down. And who is like, you know what my life is missing today? Real action. I'm gonna go.
It has not been a stressful enough day today for me.
I am gonna go in one of these planes and fight too. You know who said that?
President of the United States.
President of the United States, whatever his name is, Tom Whitman,
or
maybe.
Whitford.
We don't
Bradley
know.
Whitford?
Bradley Whitford, not Bradley Whitman. Yeah, so he's going up in the fucking plane because he's an idiot. We already talked about how stupid he is, but okay. So,
And they also like have lost a ton. At one point, the guy's like, we're down to 15% of our like armed forces. Like, what? Are you kidding me? That seems very extreme. But they're apparently only down 15% of their armed forces because like the aliens targeted all the army bases. I guess. I mean, that's pretty fucking smart. But they have a lot of planes, but they don't have a lot of pilots. So then they have to go, and there's this like ragtag group of like, let's say, trailer park trash people from like Nevada who show up because they were like all in these trailers and like drove across the desert.
I'm not sure what happened there.
And they like a bunch of them happen to be these basically like hippie pilots
Because they're all friends? I don't get it. Why are they all following?
Oh, because they were all the crop dusters.
I don't think so.
So they get a lot of pilots from there, including the one, the only, Randy Quaid, a.k.a. Russell
K.
Oh,
I thought he kept saying.
Oh,
I thought he kept saying Russell K. Like he didn't want to tell them his full name.
Russell Case. Who is like just like sort of the comic relief, I guess, in this. So he plays this like crop duster who has these like 3 kids. I don't know if they're his biological kids or it's just they're like their stepdad, but they look kind of like Native American or like Hispanic.
Yeah.
And one of the kids is sick, and so there's this whole like kind of side plot. Anyway, he's like a total loser, the Russell guy, and he's like kind of a drunk, and he's this crop duster, and he can't do anything right. But he claims that he was abducted by aliens like some time ago, and they experimented on him sexually, and he's like out to get the aliens. So he like really, really wants to fight. So him, the president, and then this ragtag group of former pilots or anyone who can really fly a plane go up to the ship, and they're ready for when that force field comes down, right? Because you have Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum implanting the virus in the mothership. How does it go, Sweety?
So they like go to the ship. It's like pretty good. They like, give them their code, and the guy's like, "It's an older code, sir, but it checks out." Just kidding. Sweet and I both wrote down that line or said it because it's basically the same scene that happens in The Return of the Jedi.
Right. Because they have this like old ship from what is our time, the 1950s. So you're like, wouldn't that be an old ship for the aliens? Wouldn't they be like, who is this bitch? Like, why are they using an old ship?
Maybe 50 years to us
that's
is
what I
only
was
like
thinking.
a couple days for them.
That's what I was thinking.
So
and it
there
does
you
look
go.
exactly
There you
the
go.
same.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if their technology is so great, like wouldn't their technology have been like improved so much since that plane crash?
Who can say?
But yeah, it's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
It checks out.
So they like they bring the ship in.
So they bring the ship in. They like dock at a station. There's a weird alien in like a booth, and he's like doing shit on the computer. FYI, when I was little, Sweetie Confusion, I thought that was the mother. I thought that was the alien mother.
Me
Why
too.
did we think that?
I don't
was
know.
It? No.
Basically, he's just like the air traffic control guy.
Yeah. I was like convinced. I was like, whoa, there she is.
Yeah.
The queen. But it's not. Yeah, it's just like some fucking dude, and he's like, like, what is he fucking doing with all those ships? Like, is he supposed to do something, or is he just sitting there? So then they upload the virus. Seems to be pretty quick. It seems to be quicker than it takes my computer to make updates. Like that virus was like in and out.
Yeah.
So it's up. They upload it. They let the folks down on Earth know. Again, how? That's what I like to know. But they go crazy. They start shooting. President shoots a torpedo. Nothing happens. They're like, oh, fuck. We're all fucked. He's like, I want one more try. Eagle 1. Fox 2.
I love this call
and he
signs.
just like does it, and the torpedo goes and blows it up. Woo! Shield is down, motherfuckers!
Down.
So they all go crazy. You know what? Unfortunately, all the ships only have like 4 torpedoes on it, so they're not making they're not doing a lot of damage here. Guys, more torpedoes. Why aren't we putting more? Why are we making torpedoes that don't jam? First of all, but we'll get to that. Okay, so
I think those ships can only hold 4 torpedoes. I'm just saying.
well, I know,
Missiles.
but can we like?
I think it's a missile.
I think
It's
we
not
need
a
to
plane.
increase that. Whatever.
I think a torpedo is a submarine.
You're a torpedo.
I'm a torpedo.
And it said, didn't it say like torpedo failure? Or, it said missile failure? I don't know.
It's missiles when it's in.
Didn't Bill Pullman say it? Doesn't anyone have any torpedoes left?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. So,
But they're doing a decent job, but you're right. So they're running out of their missiles. And then like kind of like the last guy who had a missile got blown up. Oops. And then so President's like, does anyone have any missiles left? And then Brady Quinn comes in, sorry, sir, I got held up. And he has 1 missile left. So it's like perfect because he just wants to like stick it to the aliens because they apparently abducted him and he's like still mad about it. I mean, I would be too. So he goes, he's all ready. They cover him. And I love that scene where they're like, and they're like shooting all in front of him. We're like clearing the path. And they're like, boop. So they kill all the aliens like that. So he can just like fly up there. And I don't know if they've like, did they like figure out that they needed to shoot the thing like up to the middle of the
it was
ship?
like their last chance because it was
Okay.
about to fire
Yeah.
on them.
So then the thing is like over the Area 51 area and is ready to like explode, like blow up the whole thing. So it starts to open, and when it opens, it's like this big beak kind of mouth thing, and it's like this neon kind of stream that comes down, like stream ray. My science terminology is horrible. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I've got a giant bird with a beak. That's all I hear.
So Rainy Quaid goes and he's like, "Fuck you, suckers!" And he like tries to like do the missile, but it's jammed. You can't. We got jammed, sir. It's jammed. Raspberry jam, strawberry jam. And he's like, "Fuck!" But then he's like, he looks at like the picture of his kids he put in the cockpit, and he's like, "Tell my kids I love them." And then he's like, "Okay, like I'm going in." And he's basically going to use his plane as the final missile, and he does have the missile on it, so I think that like does help explode the whole thing. And he just kind of basically kamikazes that shit, sacrifices his life.
Done.
And flies up the alien's butt. And he goes, "Up yours." And he's like surprisingly so jolly, like right before he gets killed, which I'm like, good for you.
Yeah, he's excited. He gets to like save the world. But yeah, he blows up the whole ship. Woo, it's done. So they're like, "All right, we did it, boys. Like, tell the rest of the world how to kill him." So then they send a Morse code that's like, "Okay, guys, find out how to kill them all. Just kamikaze yourself into the blast zone." Like, I don't know. It seemed, I'm not sure what that instruction was. But so, meanwhile, back on alien ship, they are stuck because they uploaded the virus and then they're like trying to leave, but then they're still attached to like the dock thing, so they can't get out. So we're like, oh, we're fucked. So they lit up their cigars and they're just like, "Yeah, well, it was good around while it lasted, buddy. Like, too bad we couldn't do it." And then they're like, let's just kill. They have these big. Are they nukes?
They have a nuke. It's
a
nuke.
They have nukes.
Yeah.
Okay. And they are going to launch them off, and they have 30 seconds to go off. But because they think they're stuck, they're like, "Oh, well, like, we'll die too. It's fine." So they launch the nukes, and then... Wait.
It comes undone.
But I thought they had 30 seconds.
No, so they do. They launched a nuke, and because it like crashed into the main little guy who was maybe like holding them, it kind of like fucks up the whole like system.
He needs a name.
I know. I kind of love that guy,
Larry or something.
I know. Poor Larry in the control booth. He's like, "Man,
bad day.
Pick the wrong day to come to work." But he's like, yeah. So like it kind of like takes down the little thing that's holding them up, so they can go now. But they only have 30 seconds. Luckily, Will Smith is like an amazing pilot and maneuvers the shit out of that little plane and gets them out of there.
He's nice.
And then the thing explodes, and they're like still kind of close though, and they get totally stuck in like the debris, which I am really surprised they made it. Honestly,
unclear how they made it.
Insane.
They don't show us how.
No,
they're just like, "Oh," and then that's it.
Yeah.
So everybody's all celebrating and stuff, and then back home, they're like, "Well, did you hear anything from our boys up in the air or whatever?" And they're like, "No, sir, no radio signal and blah, 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 lost all communication." So everyone's like, "Oh, no, they're probably dead." And then the one guy's like, "Wait, sir, I see something on the radar, sir." So we've just like all Spaceballs all the time. So they run out there, they drive out there, and it's them. They're back. They're fine. They crash their ship, but they're fine. Smoking their cigars. Jeff Goldblum's doing like a weird, like, he shit his pants dance or something, trying to be cool.
It's just such a funny scene because it's like, you know, Will Smith is just like
so
doing
cool.
his cool like Will Smith walk, and then like Jeff Goldblum's like this like gangly white dude who's like trying to do some like little swaggy thing, but it looks like he's like limping / like trying to dance.
It's very awkward.
It was
but
really
hooray!
weird.
So that's it. And now Independence Day is a global holiday. So yeah, woo!
Yeah.
The day we received independence from the aliens. But can we still celebrate independence from the British?
Yeah.
Like,
do you think like it's just like a double celebration?
Yeah.
It's just
like
so
is this
much
like having your birthday on Christmas? And you're
I bet
like,
you even
what
get more
the
days
fuck?
off. Maybe it's like 2. Maybe it's 3. Just
Maybe it's
saying.
not in the middle of the
Huge.
fucking week.
Yeah, that sucks this year. But yeah, cool movie. I was into it. A sequel came out, you know, this year.
That's right.
Last year.
Sometime, I don't know.
Must have been last year, Independence Day. You know what? Like, I was looking at the IMDb, and so many of the same people were in that, and I was like, wow, good for you. / not Will Smith, though. And I remember I'm not seeing that movie unless Will Smith is in it, and he wasn't, and I was like,
Yeah,
no.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Dumb.
So I don't know, like, what the plot is. I'm sure it's aliens come again, and like, oh, we got to do this shit, like, again. And, like, is Bill Pullman still in it? Old president? I mean, he's supposed to be, you know, he served his 2 terms.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, got terrible reviews, so clearly it didn't go
not
well.
Needed. I don't like. You know, it was kind of like a dumb movie to begin with. Dumb but good, and definitely we don't need another dumb good movie about the same fucking thing. So gross. And also, it's just not an alien time, as you said.
No.
You know, we're not in the alien time.
It could come back, I could see, but, I don't know. So, obviously, I was always confused about how the aliens determined what cities to blow up, right? They're just so smart that they knew, like, these were the big cities? They're not even all the big cities. Like, LA? What? It's not a big city.
And do you got the impression that from when they took over the scientist's mind and then... Oh, no. Sorry. When they, like, did the telepathy with Bill Pullman to, like, tell them the plan. Like, why would you fucking tell them the plan, first of all? I guess they're just, like, cocky aliens. They're like, hey, like, we're going to win. So their resources on their planet are like done, and so they're just going around to the solar system, like just taking all the resources from all the planets and moving on. Not like they didn't intend to like settle on Earth
and then move on back to their planet?
No, to another planet. They're just going around, hopping around different galaxies, like trying to just like...
It's like, sounds like a failed Sweety business plan to me. But yeah, okay. It was weird. But I just don't understand, like, so if they're like, let's hover over the biggest cities, because, the ones that have, like, the skyscrapers or whatever, why would they go to Washington, D.C. and be like, I'm going to hover over this big White House? Like, how do they know what the White House is? And, like, that we have a president. Like, I'm just very confused about it.
They did their research. I mean, it's kind of, that whole plan is, like, kind of creepily 9/11-ish to me, because I'm like, oh, it's like, it just felt like, yeah. And this was, like, 4 or 5 years before. Like, that just seemed, like, really creepy to me, because that's kind of, like, basically what 9/11 was. They went to, like, all the big cities, and we're like, okay, like, let's, like, blow up big, buildings and stuff like that, which is, like, kind of what they did. Though in this one, it was Empire State Building for New York, which is, like, the symbol of New York. I don't know what they blew up in L.A. I don't know what that was. Just some building.
What was that, like the record company?
I don't know. And then, and so, like, the U.S., obviously, like, the White House. But I agree. I'm sure they just, like, did their research and were like, okay, like, what are the big cities here? And then it said, I don't know if you noticed, but, like, they just kept moving to other cities. Yeah. And so, like, by 36 hours, I guess they would have gotten all of the main cities. And it made me wonder, was Boston's in the second round?
Probably.
Sad.
We're always like...
Sweety.
Well, my question is, what is the blast range?
Right.
Do you have to actually be in the city? Like, what if you were in a town outside the city? Would it
we
reach
be okay
you?
in
I don't
Malden?
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is, again, things I don't want to think about. Or
it is.
Ways I could die
stressful.
in the alien apocalypse.
It's super stressful.
But yeah, very stressful. Let's see. Thoughts on aliens? No, we'll save that. Okay. I don't know. You go.
Okay. So, God, what do I want to talk about? So, I guess I'll start with favorite scenes, because it's always a great way to just talk about kind of the important parts. Okay. So, I love the Will Smith fighter pilot scene, because I think that's really cool. And I kind of like fighter pilot, like, scenes in general. And this one is, like, very Top Gun-ish, right? So you have, like, two buddies, and they're, like, making all these jokes, and they're obviously, like, good buds. And you see, like, kind of, like, their rapport between them. And you also learn a little bit more about Steve, right? So you learn that, like, he's going to propose to Jasmine with this, like, butt-ugly dolphin engagement ring. You learn that he wants to be, he's always wanted to be an astronaut. So he keeps applying to NASA, and they keep denying him, which is a bummer. You learned, so you, like, learn all this stuff about him, and then they, like, go up in the air, and they're, like, and, like, Steve's so cocky but so calm. Like, he obviously, like, does his job so well. And I just think that scene is, like, so cool, because it is kind of neat how they, like, he's maneuvering all over, and you see, like, what a good pilot he is. Unfortunately, yes, his friend dies very, like, Goose-like from Top Gun, which is super sad. And you're like, no.
But also, like, Star Wars. So this whole movie's like a ripoff of Star Wars, but especially this scene, because it's like the friend, like, just in Star Wars with Boar Binks or whatever. Is it Biggs? Binks. What?
Biggs.
Binks.
Oh, that's Biggs.
Okay, that's what I thought too. But I thought you were saying the other one.
Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, true.
Biggs.
It's Biggs. He dies. Goose dies. He died. Yeah, it's like this, like, Air Force pilot trope. Right. My friend died. Oh no, kind of.
But
thing.
now it's like, now I have more to fight for. Like, they killed my friend. And obviously they give, like, Will Smith some, like, pretty funny, like, lines, but I love the part where he's, like, freaking out, where he's, like, his parachute's still on. He's like, get off of me, get off of me. And he's, like, walking over, and he just starts, like, saying, like, random shit to the alien. He's like, you coming down here? Like, I'm gonna get into the ship, and I'm gonna come, like, beat your ass. And he's just getting, like, so, like, feisty about it. Oh my God, I love it. It's hilarious. Such a good scene.
I love that scene too.
Second scene I love is Area 51 shit, because, like, that is really fascinating to me, and I still think something has went on, and we, like, are not being told about it.
Obviously. Why are they being so sketchy?
Exactly. But that part as a little kid scared the shit out of me. Specifically, the scene when the alien comes to life. I don't even know why didn't they kill it or put it to sleep, or maybe like the anesthesia didn't work or something?
They wanted to like learn more. I think you learn more about it if it's alive.
But they were cutting into its exoskeleton when it was alive. Like, are you dumb? I don't know. That seems stupid.
I don't know. And yeah, it didn't seem like they knocked him out. Like they weren't even like, "Hey, Steve, can you punch him in the head again?" Like they just went for it.
So he like comes to life and they like kills all the other scientists in the room, and then the main scientist he like strangles and then is able to talk through them, like we said. But so the part that's like super scary, which I jumped again today, was it's like the president's like, I want to see this alien. So he like goes down there and the room is completely all clouded, like they can't see anything, and there's like lights all broken and like sparks and shit. They're like, uh-oh, like doesn't look great down here. And they like go really close to the glass and they can't see anything. They're trying to look, and all of a sudden the guy's face like slams into the glass and is like all strangled with the like tentacles of this like thing. It's so scary. And then he's like talking through it. And the alien has a very limited vocabulary, I will just say. He says like maybe 5 words.
And it's like,
die.
I want to kill you.
Kill you.
Yeah. It's
Go
funny.
away.
Yeah, it's a good scene. Good scene. I always love the scene with Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith at the end when they're in the ship together.
Yeah.
And it's funny that so I would say the two main characters or stars of this film were Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, and they don't meet until the movie's practically over. So they don't meet until an hour and 48 minutes in. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like they've known each other their whole lives.
I wish there was more of them.
Yeah. See,
I'm
exactly.
sad it did
I
take
know,
that
it
long
was such a
their
fun little
chemistry was
partnership.
really fun.
Yeah, so I love that whole scene. I think that is very funny, most of that. They like there's some snafus that happen where like the shield or like like it looks like one of those like sun shields you put over like that Grammy used to put over in her car when we went to the beach so your seats don't get hot. That like goes away and they're like hide, so they just like hide behind the seats. And then my favorite part is when they like launch the torpedoes and then they open they're like stand up and they're like hi, here we are. I love to just do that.
The Earthlings, like
I think it's really funny. But yeah, it's a good scene. It's a great scene. I loved it. I think that's my favorite. Totes. Would you like to talk about this controversial topic? Do you think the dolphin ring is uglier than the egg ring from Selena? Yes or no?
God, I don't know. I mean, I'm just... God. So, as we said, sweet old Jasmine has a thing for dolphins.
So many fucking dolphins.
And Steve wants to marry her and decides, brilliant idea, let's get an engagement ring with a dolphin on it. And like a wave on the bottom, and there's
not
like
just
a
one
diamond in the
dolphin.
center.
Might be two. Might be
No,
two
it's a
dolphins.
wave on the bottom.
Oh, I thought it was a dolphin on top, a dolphin on the bottom,
It's like a wave.
circle, like
It's
an
a wave
eternal.
and then
a
dolphin like
I thought it was like
jumping over it.
their eternal love is together in two
Anyway,
dolphins.
long story short, is the ugliest fucking ring ever. It's like from the Lisa Frank engagement ring collection. I mean, nobody should own these. I feel
my
so
God.
bad for her, but she
No,
fucking loves it.
I
She
would
loves it.
love a Lisa Frank engagement ring.
You would have a cat one.
Somebody
oh my God,
make that
the diamond would be
up.
like a yarn ball, and it would be like
OMG. Need it. But yeah, it's so ugly.
it's fucking butt ugly. But good for him because he obviously like knew his gal.
She's a stripper, so
Yeah, but she's cool. And I will say, like, I love her character in this. And I love Vivica A. Fox was such like a cool, like, also did like a ton of 90s movies and always just like knew her shit and just like owned it. Just like owned everything.
She's a
And
badass in
great.
this.
Yeah,
She like
she's so cool.
obviously like saves her child and the dog. Like go like have to like traipse through the like
Saves everybody
apocalypse,
else.
finds an old truck, boots it up, rescues everybody else, including the first lady. Makes friends with her and like plays it cool that she knows who she. I mean, she's great.
She's so cool.
I love her.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, so here are a couple strange things in this movie that I'm just like, what's happening here? Okay, so number one, there's this weird tension between David and the president, and they hate each other. And apparently, it's because last time they met, they got in a fight. What is this fight about? What happened?
Well,
there?
did you listen? Because
No.
David was convinced, because it sounds like she's been like this guy's chief of staff for a while, probably before he was even president, right? So he thought that because I think she was spending so much time with him, obviously it's her job, that they were having an affair. So he punched him. He came to the office and he punched him one day. Yeah.
Okay. I thought they just had gotten in a fight, and like
No.
this whole time I was like, I wonder what the fight was about. Like, did Bill Pullman owe Jeff $5? Like, what happened?
It sounds like he had some trust issues because his ex-wife says, because his dad says to her, "Oh, David just like wanted to get down here as soon as he figured out what was going on. He wanted to protect you and stuff like that. And he basically he really loves you." And she's like, "Love was never our problem." So like, what was your problem?
What was the problem?
I think he was like jealous,
Small
and trust
dick?
issues.
Oh.
No. Oh.
Not a small dick. Okay, check. All right. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, that makes more sense.
It was the sex. The sex was the issue.
Secondly, there's this like I don't understand this part. So the 3 kids and Russell are, in their Winnebago, whatever. The youngest kid is sick and he's like needs medicine.
The most random disease. What was wrong
So
with him?
something with
his arterial cortex.
adrenal cortex. So I looked it up. It's like a endocrine like disease or whatever. It's either called Allen's disease or Cummings disease.
Why did they give him
And-
such a complicated illness? Just give him the diabetes and end it.
You hear what I said? It's either called Allen's disease or Cummings disease because
What?
because I read whatever one of those. I was like,
That's
Allen
hilarious.
Cummings. So now I forget which one it was. But it's like something like that can't be regulated and you like feel sick all the time and they're like throwing up and sick. So like that was a random plot point. I just don't understand. Like why was that necessary?
No, I have no idea.
To get them to Area 51 so that and then he was like makes a big fuss about the doctors helping his son. Like that was weird. So that's super random. Let's see. Do maybe not. Maybe that was all I had. But it seemed like a lot more at the time. So, Sweetie, I think it's time for you to tell everybody about your new love interest.
Oh my God.
New Tiger Beat poster.
Jesus
award
Christ.
recipient.
The Area 51 Major Hunk.
Major Hunk.
His name is Major Mitchell. So he ends up being, let's face it, people, the hero of this film. Major Hunk is in like every scene Area 51. He does literally all of the jobs. Every single job. They're like, Major Hunk, you want to do it? And he fucking does it.
I'm just like, don't
And
we
he's
have other people to do these jobs? He's
No.
like, next scene he's gonna be like the janitor. He's just like sweeping up cups. He's like, just my other job, no big deal. But
Oh,
he,
yeah.
like he does like he shows them around, like gives them a tour of Area 51. He seems to be in charge. He what was the other thing he was doing? He was like computer or something. Was he on the computer?
He was basically like mission control at one point.
He was mission control.
He gets
was-
the people out from and saves all the people from outside. He
like-
trains the pilots.
He recruits the pilots, trains them, sends them up. It's just like, what can't he do? What can't he? He shoots the can off the ship.
And shoots the alien, which is like by far the best scene. And I literally got the biggest lady boner I've gotten.
They all
in
shot the
weeks.
alien, but yeah,
Here's the scene. Let's set it
okay,
up.
it's a good scene.
Like we said, like the scary scene where like the doctor's like pressed against the like glass and is like the alien's talking through his vocal cords, and then the president gets is able to read the thoughts because he gets too close or something like that, and then he gets like this bad headache and there's all these like, and I think the aliens tries to like kill him with his like telepathic thoughts or something because he's like my head. So then the general of the Marines, who's the Robert Loggia character, who's awesome as well, is like, is that glass bulletproof? And he's like, no, sir. And he like whips out his gun. He's like, pow, 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 like shoots the glass, and the alien like goes back. Like, ah! So hot. And then he goes into the room even further and then shoots him in the head twice.
Ooh,
Oh my God. It
Sweetie was like dying.
so hot. He's so attractive.
He's just like one of the classic like
Classic.
army,
and he's always in his dress, like uniform.
yeah. He's looking real sharp, but unfortunately, he had a wedding ring on his finger, so he's taken. Sweetie, I'm sorry to tell you, he's taken.
Maybe he's gotten a divorce by now. He's probably also 60.
Nuts.
Yeah, but I like, it's one of those things, and this happens a lot when we've been watching these movies, that like when you're a kid watching these, you're like, I don't know, you don't like think adult men are attractive. Like Andrew Keegan is randomly in this, who was like kind of like a young kid.
That Will Smith was attractive.
Well, that's your thing. I never had a thing for Will Smith. But, like, Andrew Keegan is in this, and he was, like, kind of like a kid heartthrob at the time. And so, like, maybe that would be someone I'd be like, ooh, Andrew Keegan, though I never thought Andrew Keegan was hot. But now, like, watching these as like an adult woman, you're like, and kind of like the same thing about Jeff Goldblum. Like Jeff Goldblum has kind of like a hotness to him.
Yeah,
that,
but only like one, like just a couple times.
Yeah.
Like it's weird that they like shift him back and forth between like super nerd and then like kind of like bad boy, like rebel in the same beat. It's like weird. Sometimes I'm attracted to him, sometimes I'm not. I don't know what's happening.
I agree. And like he's so, I mean, he kind of always, he plays this character kind of a lot. Let's say this sort of like scientist. I'm thinking of like obviously Jurassic Park. And he's like a Jeff Goldblum like to the max, I feel like, in Jurassic Park. And this is dialed back a little bit to that. It's not obviously the Malcolm level of Jurassic Park. But and we like kind of brought him up recently because we saw the new Jurassic Park and he's in that for a hot second doing his like same old like Jeff Goldblum like shenanigans. Giving speeches and the way he like just delivers all these lines, like kind of like chews on the words, I think is what like described it as. But he's great, and I like fucking love Jeff Goldblum. Like anything he's in, I'm like, yep, I'm down with that. I'm cool with that.
Jeff Goldblum, yeah, he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. What else?
I want to talk a little bit about that speech at the end, which was like super famous, and it now is like the cheesiest fucking thing ever. I will say though, I got like choked up as hell as a kid about it. That's how embarrassing it is. I mean, I'm like an American history geek. And maybe that's where it started.
I got a little bit of goosebumps when he was like, "We will not go into that dark night.
We will not go into the night. We will persevere. This is like Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Hello,
Fear, we don't have nothing to fear but fear itself."
It's good. But yeah, it's a good speech. Obviously, everyone loves to play that video on the 4th of July and be like, look, guys, it's our Independence Day.
And I will say, like, when I was watching it, because you're like, oh, you said, like, oh, the country's in, like, you know, kind of a weird spot right now. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, it's hard to get patriotic when, like, the country is, like, shit. And I just kept saying to myself, I'm like, okay, we're just going through a bad patch. We're going through it. We're a bad patch right now. We're not united. Because the thing is, like, 4th of July is that time where you can just, like, forget about everything. And we all are here in this country, and we were able to be who we are currently now, which isn't that great, but like through our history, because of like, you know, we did this independence thing. Like we were colonies, and we were like, fuck you, like you're not treating us well, and you're attacking us without representation. We're rebelling, and like these tiny little colonies, like, and like no colonies had like ever done that. Well, did Haiti do that before us? Totally. No. That was in the 1800s, I think. But really, like, it's like not very common for colonies to be able to win against a huge empire, and we like won against the British Empire, guys.
It's true.
I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
I just had like a total brain explosion, and for a second in my head, I was like, yeah. The Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower, and they were like running from the British, and they were like, let's fight the British. And I was like, wait, that was way before.
Oh, God.
I just got so confused in my head. But then I was like, no. I got it.
I mean, they were running from religious persecution.
Sure. I'm sure that's why I mixed it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. I just want to just quickly say that like Independence Day wasn't independence for everyone, and unfortunately African Americans did not receive the same amount of independence, and hence why we have Juneteenth to celebrate their independence from slavery. That is all. Thank you.
Wow, look at you go.
I mean, I don't know if I have anything else. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I love this movie. Like I said, I like it. It's not Men in Black, so I don't love it. But, you know, it's a great flick to watch in the summer. It'll bring you back. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, I agree. Question for you.
Yep.
Are planes faster than a fireball?
I don't know.
Why did that keep happening? I was like, wait a minute. Like, how fast is a plane flying that you can, like, outrun a giant fireball?
Yeah, I don't know. That scene's nuts.
I mean, that scene
Air Force One is
really
like
cool,
basically getting swallowed up by the fireball, but then it's like,
and like the only thing that's happening in the inside, it's like the plane's kind of shaking, and they're like, oh, bad flight. But like, wouldn't the engines explode?
Yeah, it would have been bad. Like if that fucking alien ship blew up because like a plane flew. I don't know. It just,
and all I could think of is like, you know, they have these giant alien ships just like now have fallen down onto the ground, and like, how do we pick all that up?
Who's gonna clean that up?
Who's gonna clean that
Who is
stuff
gonna
up?
clean it?
How many years did it take? And like, also, all the main cities are busted, man. So I wonder if like tiny little cities became, they probably just rebuilt, and it didn't seem like the whole city, like they just kind of just like took the center and were just like,
Yeah.
Didn't seem like the whole city was kind of like
I just
done.
thought of another movie about aliens that we saw, Signs. M. Night Shyamalan. That movie, I mean, I just don't care to think about aliens, good or bad. Like, I don't really want to think about it. Good would be great, but chances are, with our fucking luck, they're gonna be mean.
Yeah. What do you feel like the ratio is between like alien stories where they're good aliens versus like bad? They're almost always bad, right?
That'd be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
I mean, like, usually bad, yeah. The only ones I can think, I mean, like, E.T., good. Close Encounters, good, except they fucking, like, kidnapped people, which, like, rude.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, but they weren't, like, trying to kill them. I
No,
think it
they
was
were
just,
studying
like,
studying humans.
Arrival, good. I'm sure there's other ones. But, yeah, and then the bad ones you can think of, like, always, because it's just a better movie, I guess.
What is War of the Worlds? That's aliens coming and
Those are bad.
Yeah,
Definitely
those are bad.
bad aliens. It's a war, so it ain't good, sweetie.
Chat of the Worlds.
But just like even like
Party
Invasion
of
of
the
the Body
Worlds.
Snatchers, Cocoon. Like, are those aliens your favorite movie, Cocoon?
No, remember, like, I actually have never seen that. But
You know
like,
what's
I'm
funny? You know
obsessed
what's
with it.
hilarious though? After I made fun of you about Cocoon on my Facebook newsfeed, it was like, today's the anniversary
my
of when
God.
Cocoon was
Dude,
released.
we gotta watch that
And
now.
then it showed like the trailer, and I was like, old people.
In the cocoons. Is the plot that like they get in the cocoons for eternal life or something? Like, what is this movie?
I can't believe you've never
I've
seen
never
it, and
seen
you're
it.
like obsessed with
I
it.
picked up the video case like 800 times at Blockbuster, but I never fucking watched it.
Oh my god, I love it.
Is Wilfred Brimley in it? I'm pretty sure. The diabetes / Quaker Oats
He's
guy?
in The Thing, so I don't know, but we'll watch it. We'll put it
Well,
on our
we should
list.
watch it, definitely.
We're gonna watch that. It's gonna be great.
What's the ones with the little robots?
Batteries not included.
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen that.
That's Alien
But-
too. I have seen that, but very, very long time
Are
ago.
they bad? Are they good aliens?
What
or bad
about
aliens?
Mac and Me?
Who's Mac?
That's
Oh, that
Alien.
weird alien.
Yeah.
I can see the cover
Yep.
on my head. Flight of the Navigator.
Good Alien.
Good alien. Yeah, there's like good aliens and bad. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's like
yeah.
a mix.
Yeah.
But we always like are very wary, right? Because sometimes we think,
Well,
like,
sure,
they're
we
gonna
don't
be bad,
know
but they're actually
them,
good.
yeah.
Hello, E.T.
What's your stance on aliens, though?
What do you mean? Do I believe they exist?
Yeah.
Avi, hello.
Avi.
We
Okay.
are not alone.
Have you seen
Jodie
things?
Foster?
Oh,
Contact.
Good aliens, right?
We are not alone. Yeah, I forget like what really the deal was with that, because they basically just like fucked with us and were like, build this giant thing, and then she does it, and then she goes, but no one believes her because she just falls through the thing, but actually she was gone.
She had a
like,
whole experience.
Yeah, she was in like another dimension.
Yeah, I
But
don't
she
know.
can't tell anybody. I mean, she can tell people, but they don't believe her. So I don't know what
maybe
the aliens
maybe
were
it
doing.
didn't happen. I don't know. Maybe it's like Wizard of Oz, and it's like, was
I
it
don't
just
know.
a dream?
kinda
I don't know.
like that movie.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, man, I love alien. I love the alien genre, but not. And I guess the disaster alien movies
the
scare
level?
me.
Because remember when we were really into X-Files, and that's
yeah.
like so that.
Yeah, I mean, I love all that like Area 51 shit, and like I think it's pretty cool. But I do think that the idea of like aliens taking over the world is just like too terrifying to comprehend.
Yeah.
So we saw Signs in the movie theater. I was like terrified and like was like hands over my ears and eyes
That's a
because there's
scary
just like
movie.
so many like jumps and like scary things. I just couldn't handle it. So we go home. We like walk through this like sketchy as fuck parking lot at night on like the other side of the mall because we parked wrongly at Macy's. And you know how malls work. It's crazy. So that night I'm like sleeping, and then there's like all these plane sounds, and in my little head I'm like, oh no, I'm like, those are UFOs and they're coming to take us over and we're all
God.
gonna die. So like I didn't sleep at all that night, and man, those aliens really fucked me up. But let's hope they don't. Let's hope they don't take over the world. That'd be bad.
My only confusion with aliens is that I don't think our government is like organized enough to like keep all that stuff from everybody for like all the time. So that's why I guess I'm kind of confused about like why we haven't even seen anything that's total proof that there is life out there.
Because they like drug the people that saw something, so that everyone else just thinks they're crazy and
I don't
doesn't
think
listen
they're
to
that
them.
organized though. I just like don't see it. Like we can barely do it like function at all, and they're gonna have this like, and like why can't we know about it? You know,
So
right?
that other people don't use the technology. It's always about like
Or
other.
it's like the aliens are so advanced technology that they can even come here and not even like we won't even notice, kind of a thing. So that's
That'd be
my
cool.
other theory.
That would be cool.
That they've been here many times, but like we don't even notice. But then don't you also think like what if they came at times when like it was, when there was cavemen, or, like the Renaissance, and people like didn't know how to explain it.
Is this because you saw 2001: A Space Odyssey recently, and you're like,
I mean, it makes me think.
yeah. Apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, aliens, cool shit, man. But yeah, I mean, great movie, good flick, good action flick, solid. If you have thoughts about Independence Day, are you done? Sure, we're gonna wrap it up.
I was just thinking, what is the plot of Cowboys versus Aliens?
So there's like cowboys in the desert, and they're like, la 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 la, we're cowboys, we're fighting. And then there's like, boom, boom, alien ship, boom. So now the cowboys are versus the aliens, who are also taking over the world. So the cowboys have to stop the aliens. But Daniel Craig is like, has this like weird bracelet on because I think he's from the future.
What?
And I think he like helps them somehow. I don't know. I saw it one time in the movie theater, and that's all I
Have you ever
got.
seen the movie Stargate?
No.
Or know about it? I think this
I know about
director did that.
Oh, good for him.
So apparently he was doing press for Stargate, I guess, and there was like, he basically like described the plot of this movie by accident, and then was like, oh, I should make a movie about that or something like that. He was like answering a reporter's question and about aliens taking over the world or something like that, and he basically like described this movie, and I was like, what?
Sketchy.
And then they made it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, like, personally, I think to just, like, I like to think that it's, like, a Men in Black situation, and there's, like, a different branch of the government that's controlling it, and, like, some people know about them, and, like, not everybody, but they're, like, keeping it under wraps, and if they...
I just think that would be impossible. Like, and not only in this country, but, like, what about other... Like, why are we're thinking about this on the level of just the U.S. What about the entire world?
That's true. That is true.
You're telling me that the government of Zimbabwe has like a fucking Men in Black program to like make sure like if someone sees an alien, like no.
Maybe we come and like do our shit there too. I don't know. They like pick up. I don't know, sweetie. I don't know. I don't make the rules. That's all I know. It's my theory. That's what I like.
Who does?
Whatever. Anyways, if you have a theory about aliens that you would like to tell us, you can come and find us at the Sweety Club. That's on Twitter, or on Instagram at Large Marge. Send us. Come find us. Talk to us. We love it. Thank you, as always, for listening.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
Bye.